you're saying you worked on a game from Sony Santa Monica instead of saying you worked on God of War as a writer. So people are like, okay, which one is it? It's just like, we can't take anything she says seriously.
This is so sad. Now, dude, I don't often say this, but like, learn to code. Like, do anything other than this. It's profoundly embarrassing.
But really, for people in like all different kinds of industries, but particularly creative ones, Twitter used to be a really great networking tool. It was a great place to engage with people you wanted to actually meet or work with. I actually would say it made networking for career purposes easier than it has ever been, and it will probably never be as easy again. I mean, I know people who met on Twitter who've gone on to make successful movies together. I could make this video about the dramatic rise in hate speech recently, and the study I'm showing you published by the US Congress only includes the 2 months after Elon bought the site. It has since gotten way worse, but that's actually not what this video is about. That would be a whole separate topic that maybe we'll cover. I could also point to Meta deciding to lift some hate speech policies, but I'm not talking about that either. Obviously, hate speech bad, harassment bad, but what do you really get from me talking about that? I assume you already know that. Right? But no, this video is intentionally not about politics at all.
If you don't know who this is Alanah. Alanah has been working for a long time as a, person who helps develop and work on video games, AAA games as well for Santa Monica Studios, as well as has worked on indie games, as well has been in a number of different, game award shows, is a streamer in her own right, does a fuck ton of stuff. Very talented woman. Honestly, though, the problem being that she happens to have one thing in the gaming industry that is seen as a negative, which is she's a woman. So there's a lot of people who have been attacking her for a long time because she happens to be a woman, which, you can spend a long time, I think, ignoring it, especially when, there's not everybody who has become as successful as she has, there are a lot of gaming journalists, for example, or people who critique games or who talk about games. If they happen to be femme-presenting, if they happen to be women, if they happen to be feminine in any way, shape, or form, or if they happen to be, gay men too. I mean, let's not be too generous to the chuds, or, non-binary individuals who want to talk about, work on, or involve themselves in video games in any way. Holy shit, is it ever a cesspool of super, super angry people who have been taught by other very, very sad, lonely, and divorced people how to be mad. And it's always be mad at women. But Alanah, for a long time, was avoiding all that. Like, she effectively wasn't, like, one of the people who was like, hey, by the way, it's really fucked up every single day when I log on. It's just nonstop hatred and misogyny, until she made a video talking about fake gamers. And that was a really good video. I think everyone needed to learn about the fact that a lot of these people who complain all day about video games, about them being woke, about them not being, caring about the players anymore. They're just trying to push the DEI agenda, and this is Sweet Baby Inc. and all that kind of stuff. None of them actually play video games, care about video games outside of like noise and titties and boobies and explosions, and then more explosions and maybe some more boobies, but that's about it. But like, ultimately, when it gets down to it, like, how are all of you so obsessed with always just chasing the next thing to be mad about, rather than ever celebrating, hey, by the way, it's pretty cool that there's like a good remake that just came out, like Silent Hill 2, for example, one that no one saw coming. Blooper Team is not known for making good remakes. Silent Hill 2 is considered the greatest, especially in my opinion, survival horror game of all time. And so for a remake to be made by a shitty company that doesn't respect mental illness, turning out to actually be pretty fucking good, was a shock and a surprise, but a welcome one and an awesome one. Now a new generation can learn the story of Silent Hill 2, appreciate it, enjoy the adventure, all that kind of shit. But no, it's got to be always like, well, but what about this one character who looks kind of mannish? Spider-Man 2 is like one of the best-selling video games like right now, but people are still upset because it went woke, because it happened to have a character who was black, and on a side quest you have to help her. She also uses ESL, and there's like an entire pride flag in the game, so that makes the game woke. Like, all this just nonsense. I mean, she had the audacity to be like, a lot of you just seem like fake gamers, because none of you really seem to care about the games themselves. More about just like the outrage factor. Well, that brought along a guy I'm not totally familiar with, but he's pretty big on the internet, called Smash JT.
You know what's funny is typically when you look on YouTube and search someone, there's videos talking about how people don't like them for various reasons. But when I look for Alanah Pearce, There's a few videos of detractors and tearing her down for individual things, but there isn't like a big rise and fall expose of her. And I found that fascinating because there's so many things that I've seen her do very controversially throughout the years that you would think this is something that would come to the forefront. But no, for whatever reason, people just continue making individual videos instead of saying the whole person has a major issue with being honest. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And today we're going to take a look at Alanah Pearce because she seems to be going to Twitter once again to defend her positions of,
I don't know why there are people who do this still. You know, I'm talking about like grown-ass men. You could be making so many videos right now on like the joys of retro gaming while you were growing up, or what it was like to see the consoles evolve, or if you want to talk about shit that sucks, talk about the predatory nature of the video game industry, all that. But now to be like, hey, we have to go after one of the most beloved women in an industry that already makes it really hard for women to exist within. But let's go after her. And I was on the internet looking this up, and I didn't see anything about her. No hate. She didn't know no like hit pieces. No one was calling her woke, Sweet Baby Inc., blah, blah, blah. So I decided I had to make one. And he's not the only one right now. There's a lot of people, Grums, and the other, you know, unwashed weirdos. They're all now obsessed with Alanah. She's the new big target. They're saying that she has faked her gaming credentials. She faked them. She did in fact work for Santa Monica Studios. She's a liar, and she needs to be taken down.
not lying when she clearly lied. And I gotta be honest, when I see that, I feel empowered to have.
What? Smash is okay with being scammed for 10,000. I don't know anything about this motherfucker. I know, like, I was trying to ask people what the hell is the deal with this Smash fucking weirdo, and then someone was like, he was a big promoter of Intellivision Amico. And I'm like, Intellivision Amico, why does that sound familiar? Intellivision Amico was kind of this massive scam that took place. I just want to make sure the video is right, because he helped promote him on his channel. Yeah, Tommy Tallarico answers your Intellivision Amico questions from his Ferrari. Look at how rich these people are. They must be cool.
And finding out some information.
The way we're going to have a steady stream of exclusives is that what a lot of people don't realize and understand is in this market, in this day and age, indie developers, to which there are tons of talented ones, they either have to get a Kickstarter to make money.
So if you're like, I have no idea who this is, where are we, Lance? I'm so far in the weeds. I have no idea who these creeps are. Why is this guy promoting that guy? What did that guy do? And what's this whole thing about? This takes us back to an old story. By the way, I love the concept of taking an old video game system that people maybe remember from their past and then being like, let's reboot it for another generation in one way or another, but make it more accessible to more people to be able to experience a lot of the things that we grew up with, our joys, right? Like, who doesn't love playing Super Mario Bros. 3 or one of those classic NES games? Don't you want to teach the new generations about the old consoles and rip them all the fuck off? The Intellivision Amico saga was quite a ride. Announced in 2018, the console was supposed to revive the brand and was expected to launch in 2020, but as of October 2024, there was zero sign of it happening. Tommy Tallarico, the driving force behind the project, stepped down as Intellivision CEO at the start of 2022, and in 2023, Intellivision confirmed that it lacked the funds to manufacture the machine despite securing 10,000 pre-orders as well as $5.5 million in crowdfunding. In May earlier this year, Atari purchased the Intellivision brand and its assets, but passed on picking up Amico, which will need to be rebranded if it ever sees the light of day. Overall, it's a bit of a mess, but what has Tallarico been up to since the past couple of years? Around the same time he stepped down from Intellivision, he sadly has had to deal with the passing of his father, which is never a nice experience. Speaking on Facebook for the first time in 2.5 years, Tallarico explains that his father's passing sent him down a downward spiral of crippling depression, taking him all the time to recover. Something about backgammon. He's attending the backgammon world championships. But essentially, a lot of people were really upset about this because one of the guys who was a composer on Earthworm Jim launched an entire Kickstarter to create this reboot of all these classic games from Intellivision Amico that was going to be in this console. And the project, despite securing funding, despite securing a ton of money, just never saw the light of day. Yeah, H-Bomber guy has a whole video on him. Huge ass scumbag. So you'd think you'd just walk away from whatever promotion and, you know, hanging out with the dude in his Ferrari, making videos about him, and just kind of like leave people on the internet alone. But a lot of these people just find, again, there's always going to be a lucrative corner on the internet if you want to hate women, if you want to hate on women. And it's really gross and weird. And honestly, something that should probably be alarm bells to anyone who's watching their content. It's like, what do you offer the world? Well, I want to get you all mad at women. Why women? Well, sorry, that would be disingenuous. I want to get you mad at liars, pathological liars who try to scam us men into believing their lies, their twisted lies.
Have to make a video. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article. But beneath her carefully curated public image lies a disturbing pattern of dishonesty that I just have to address here. This has gone on far enough. One of the more glaring examples is Alanah Pearce's constant dishonesty involving her self-proclaimed role as a writer in the development of God of War Ragnarok. She tweeted on January 20th, 2025, I'm aware it's fairly pointless to address this because if you fall for the BS, I think you've actively chosen to. But yes, I was a writer on a AAA game at Sony's Santa Monica for 4 straight years. I created characters, developed main plot lines, wrote levels, etc. I work with hundreds of people who can and do support my this.
Are we seeing a resurgence of the Gamergate? Absolutely. I'm glad you recognize that. See, a lot of what was happening with Gamergate was based in misogyny. It was based in people getting really, really upset that there was even a mild pushback. And don't get me wrong, it's not like all the players in the Gamergate controversy were themselves completely innocent. They found a couple instances where Anita Sarkeesian, for example, was certainly not doing her research properly, didn't look into it, especially the Hitman controversy. And there was a thing they could point towards where it's like, haha, she's saying that it's actually super sexist to have this side quest in Hitman where you have to kill a prostitute and that's promoting violence towards women. But this is not actually something you're supposed to do, and the game will dox you and you actually lose points and don't get a good high score if you kill the prostitute in the mission. She didn't know that, she lied, the entire thing is invalid. And you find like the one thing where it's just like something that they had done in the past invalidates their entire body of work, or the argument that they've made, or even the idea of like, hey, maybe it's a good thing, boys, if video games were treated like the same way we treat all media, as in like they should be analyzed. People should be able to make here's one of the most popular forms of entertainment that we all know and love. I love it too. I'm not trying to take away anyone's video games. I hate people who try to take away my video games. I've been fighting against them my whole lives. It used to be the Christian anti-wokes, right? They were the ones who were constantly like, they're satanic, they're promoting violence, they're creating school shooters, we have to stop them. Have you seen the Super Scope? It's actually just a training weapon to turn kids into Antifa and all that kind of shit. Well, yeah, that's grown up into the modern day anti-wokers, who are also just cancel culture obsessed weirdos who are just consistently like, well, this game is changing the dynamics and is trying to force wokeness on us, and we care about the plot lines, and she didn't even work on this game. It's like, okay, well, let's see what she said. I am aware it's fairly pointless to address this because if you fall for the BS, if you think you've actually chosen to, but yes, I was a writer on a AAA game at Sony's Santa Monica for 4 straight years. I created characters, developed main plot lines, wrote levels. I worked with hundreds of people who can and do support my this. Anyone who tells you it's fabricated or only worked for a cookbook is an idiot.
Anyone who tells you I fabricated this or quote unquote only worked on a cookbook is an idiot. Which you read that and it's just disingenuous, because now you're saying you worked on a game from Sony Santa Monica instead of saying you worked on God of War as a writer. So people are like, okay, which one is it? It's just like we can't take anything she says seriously.
This is so sad, my dude. I don't often say this, but like, learn to code. Like, do anything other than this. It's profoundly embarrassing. You're like, I don't know, what is he, 65? Standing in front of like, the tile set that you buy off Amazon Prime and his like YouTube award, being like, we just can't take anything she says seriously. She lied to us. We, being all men. And it's like, what? Do you not think she worked on the games or what? What are you upset about?
It's disingenuous. I have been probably annoyingly vague about the details because when you work at a big company and you have a following, sometimes people explicitly ask you to be. And I care much more about the people I work with there than I do about the internet's bad actors, which here we go again with calling anybody that dares call you out a bad actor on the internet to project and become the victim. But what's really going on here, and why is she saying this? And Kiryu on Twitter posted, what you're saying is disingenuous. You're a proven liar. You were hyping yourself up for the God of War Ragnarok saying, oh, I'm a writer on this game, guys. Turns out you lied, and it was a cookbook. And Alanah responded, okay, genuine question. Obvious bad faith aside, could you let me know where I claim to be a writer on God of War Ragnarok specifically? Genuinely, even one screenshot.
Santa Monica Studios. You might know them as the team behind God of War. We are confirming that Alanah was a writer at Santa Monica Studios for 4 years. She was a talented, creative, and hardworking contributor to our team that we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work with. Fuck off. All of you fake gamers, it's like none of you have actually worked, I think, in any capacity towards any of the things that you actually want to shit on 24/7. It's like you just love shitting all over the teams and the people behind video games. And specifically when it comes to video games where someone like Alanah worked within the capacity of helping people with accessibility. So she worked with creative teams, including writing teams, to help people with their accessibility options to be able to play video games if they happen to have a range of difficulties doing so, as compared to people who wouldn't have the same limitations. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Accessibility is badass. More people being able to play and enjoy God of War Ragnarok and the storyline based on the work that she did for the company, that's also badass. Weirdos on the internet who are like, how can we take her seriously? Did she lie to us? Did she lie to all men? Can we believe women? Are women even real? And it's like, no, my dude, Jesus fucking Christ. Here's the studio themselves. Having to be like, oh no, yeah, no, she worked for the company. I have no idea who you are, sir. But let's get back to the original hit piece.
Where I said,
yeah, so what
as Pirate Nation on Twitter said, as per Sony's own page, accessibility consultants have no part in the writing process and work solely to make the game easier to play for people with disabilities.
This is gonna be one of the saddest fucking goalposts. It's like, okay, fine. Company may have confirmed that she did in fact work on the game, and it turns out that she did actually have her name in the credits, but that was actually for the accessibility part of the credits, okay? But I challenge you this, you don't technically work as a writer on the game if you were working with the development team and the writers to improve the accessibility options. So checkmate, woman.
Disabilities. So again, she might have worked with the team and on the game, but she wasn't a writer for the game. And
this is so sad. Jesus Christ. We're not taking the L. She's got to take the L. She lied to men. All men. What were we to do?
Because this is someone that could try to parlay that into, I don't know, a writing gig at another company if they misunderstood what she was saying on Twitter.
No, because I'm pretty sure that those are teams of executives and professionals who understand what they're doing. That's like you trying to parlay your way into, I don't know, a producer role at a studio. They would see it like, oh, what have you done, sir? Oh, well, I've actually created some online films, limited distribution for sure, self-published, if you will. What are some of the titles? Well, one of my quote-unquote bangers, as they say, is Alanah Pearce is a Pathological Liar. You can find it for distribution on a youtube.com. That's where it's available right now. It's doing quite well. So what do you think? Do I have the chops to make it?
Maybe thought she did have writing experience and then she got a job parlayed from that? That's a problem because you're basically lying on your public resume. And Anthony Birch, an actual writer on the game, posted on Twitter saying, if someone's not credentialed as a writer on God of War Ragnarok, they were not a writer on God of War Ragnarok. My spite for those who would accept undue credit outstrips my spite for this platform, apparently. Which is wild because this is someone who actually was a writer on the game, not calling Alanah out by name.
I was like, he didn't mention Is this related to the same discourse? Hey, at my most generous, I will say maybe it is. Could be. Definitely could be. If it's not, though, that's like, this is so many layers of sad within themselves. One of the most pathetic onions I've ever seen, where someone's like, now, here's an actual writer of the game saying that people who worked on the game worked on the game. Well, he did not name her by name. You kind of get where he's going with this, right? Does he share your anger, your righteous and furious anger at this person you've never met that you're taking down? This whole thing, by the way, pathological liar, being like, this individual has gotten away with this for too long. She's beloved. People enjoy her content. She raises thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for charities. She is certainly someone who's not only worked on video games on the front end, but also works on the back end promoting gaming culture, trying to make games more accessible for everybody, including people who feel marginalized in those communities, LGBTQ plus people, women. They have representation in her. She's awesome. But no, we have to take her down. She has violated the sanctity of our sacred circles.
But basically saying, yeah, I'm really sick and tired of Alanah pretending to be a writer on this game when she had nothing to do with it. And then we move on to the art theft controversy, and this one's so wild that I
pisses me off about this. If he finds out how many men create up actual lives on their resumes, he'd praise them. I'd praise either. Who gives a fuck? Are you serious? I'm supposed to sit there and be like, I'm kind of pissed off you got your dream job working at a gaming company when you, in fact, kind of lied on your credentials. How did I lie? Well, it says here that you think that you worked as a creative on God of War Ragnarok. Well, I mean, I helped improve their accessibility options and worked with their writing team to be able to design ways in which people who needed more accessibility playing the video game were able to enjoy the storyline. Technically, come on, that's not actually, just not a writer.
I had to like triple check it because I'm like, there's no way that she did this. Alanah's penchant for misrepresentation doesn't stop with just pretending to be something she isn't with writing. She apparently also pretends to be an artist, and she got caught red-handed, straight up stealing artwork and attempting to pass it off as her own.
What?
And this one is pretty egregious. The actual artist, Sarah MD, exposed Pearce's theft with a statement on Twitter saying, regardless of the method used to draw this, my original artwork was not referenced as a source from the beginning. That gave the impression that it's her original drawing. And no, it didn't take me 45 minutes. It took me 3 days. And when I show you what Alanah did with this, it's gonna blow your mind if you haven't seen it already.
I'm ready.
Prepare to have your socks knocked off. So Alanah took this image and posted it to her Instagram and said that she was the one that drew it. Like straight up with the caption. Smashed out one very scribbly shinobi while I waited for WoW Classic to download. Done with Derwent pencils and black Copic marker on trusty old printer paper. Took about 45 minutes. Hashtag Sekiro. But the cat was already out of the bag and it was far too late for anything. She tweeted, hey, I just sent you a DM, but I'm extremely sorry about this. I never tried to give the impression that it was my original work.
Oh, no.
And I updated the post as soon as I found your name. I was very open about it being copied and added your name as soon as I found it. Which, I gotta be honest, based off of what she posted with the picture.
Oh my god, this is like beyond petty, you know? There's not even a bar anymore. Gotta be honest, based on, can you really apologize at this point? I guess you've never drawn anything before, you don't understand this. So, like, when I try to learn techniques or styles, or try to, like, even learn a medium for the first time, I will look at other artists who've done drawings, and I will copy them, and then I will trace them. And then, yeah, I would post one of them. Like, you should, I think, and it's a good thing that she corrected herself, give credit to the person whom you're either tracing or who you're copying when you're doing a drawing of a drawing. And then she did that. Oops. Like, is she to be trusted ever again? The pathological liar, who in this case did a very similar drawing to a drawing, which is also a drawing that multiple other people have done online. Come on.
Sure, I don't know about you guys. Sure as hell sounded like she was trying to give the impression that she drew it herself in 45 minutes. In fact, I don't see how you could see that post and think anything different than that, but don't let the truth get in the way of a good narrative. Which the original artist replied to saying, hello, I'll reply.
What's this guy's problem? I don't know. Well, I think all of them, honestly, they're really upset at Alanah. She did the capital crime of, again, making a video talking about how a lot of these people, grums, nerdotic, geeks and gamers, Stuttering Craig, unfortunately, but the Melanie Mac, like this entire ecosystem of basically outrage peddlers, every single one of them, the quartering style, where it's like all they do all day is try to keep people mad about identity politics. That's it. That's all they have. And they have to continuously move on to the next thing. And it's either, today we're going to be mad at gay people for existing. Today we're going to be mad at trans people for existing. Today we're going to be mad at black people for existing. Today we're going to go back to be mad at gay people for existing, not before being mad at indigenous people for existing. We're not going to word it or frame it that way. And yeah, they'll call you names. They'll call you racist. We're not racist. We're just gamers who care, okay? We care about good games. And it's like, hey, that game just got stellar reviews. Apparently it's an incredible piece of art. Outrageous pre-sales, and now it's doing really good. It sold a huge amount. Well, yeah, but that's not because of the fact that it's woke. That's actually because of this totally different thing that I'm now gonna have to talk about. But I do have to get to this new piece of media that's absolutely outrageous, my friends. Can you believe it? So apparently the guy who's playing the new Captain America doesn't love America. Did you hear about that? Yeah. And apparently, I don't know, but he's different than the last Captain America in one very unique way. And because of that, it makes me very mad. And it's not a racist thing. And it's not a black people thing. I'm really mad right now. I'm angry. Outrage. All day. Fucking stop. Never. Did the two pictures happen to be similar? Did she intentionally copy the person's picture? I'm confused. This controversy boils down to this artist had originally drawn that picture that a lot of other people had drawn. She did a trace or copy of it, you know, doing her own shading, blah, 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 by pen. And she hadn't credited that she had originally been using Sarah M's image. And then after she was called out on it, did that. She was like, oh, okay, yeah, by the way, the person whom I was tracing my drawing from was this original artist, blah, blah, blah. That's, again, this is exactly how anyone who's ever done any kind of art, this is how you learn. If you go to art school, this is how they teach you how to do a lot of techniques, is they will start by saying, by the way, we want you to replicate an object or design or a painting that you see before you, and we're going to continuously try to get you to do it until you figure it out.
Hi, it's me, your boyfriend / girlfriend.
I was playing this channel at the start. TTBN Gaming should have more subs, by the way, rather than giving you know, money and subs to garbage people like Smash. Give your money and subs to TTBN Gaming, who does pretty good coverage of a lot of the
motion capture
reactionary
women.
people.
Okay, so this is fucking stupid, and let me tell you why this is stupid, okay? He says other parts of the world. This is exactly, these are, the left 3 is Resident Evil. In fact, 4 out of the 6 are Capcom. Actually, fucking 5 out of the 6 are Capcom. Those are Capcom. Also, maybe you guys aren't seeing this, but I'll explain to you, because I've actually seen what women look like without their makeup on. All these women have makeup on. All these women have makeup on. They have lighting. They have all this stuff. In fact, the one on the bottom left, the clear one, is possibly a professional photo. These are all well-lit women, and they all have makeup on. When you're doing facial scans, you don't have any of that shit on, okay? Because they want to just get the facial stuff. And like I've said in my other video, what they do.
Anyways, he's really good, and he puts together a lot of good videos on this content. I'd highly recommend it.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/theserfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Salim, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincel, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.